Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. We're back with Bretonnia, as you can see, from King Luan Leoncoeur here, going to be fighting up against the Tomb Kings. This is actually one of the battles I fought quite a while ago against Black Iron when the Tomb Kings first came out, and just now getting around to casting it. It's definitely a great battle, so you guys are in for a good treat here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the army compositions. We've got, of course, Luan Leoncoeur up on his beaky here, as I like to call her, or him, I'm not really sure. Let's see, he's got the Lion Shield, of course. The magic and missile resistance will both be pertinent against the Tomb Kings in case of, Spirit Leeches from Arcan. Of course, the Shopti Bowfire, all that, will be pertinent with the Lion Shield. We've also got Stand Your Ground, Foe Seeker, Beloved Son of Bretonnia, and the Ladies Champion, so full kit on him. You can honestly probably cut Beloved Son of Bretonnia. Foe Seeker, is a bit of give and take. It does give you vigor, which is nice, and some more speed, but it's, not always something you need. We've also got a unit of Royal Hippogriff Knights, which I decided to try out in this game. I'm not super sold on them still, but we'll go ahead and see how they do here. They are one of the coolest looking units in the game, certainly. Grail Knights riding these Hippogriffs into battle, very cool. We've also got two units of Grail Knights, one out on each flank. We've got two Peasant Bowmen with fire arrows, of course fire damage being very good against the Tomb Kings. These guys are going to be great at shooting at Tomb Kings leadership. Front line is all peasants, of course. We've got two peasant mobs as the meat shields, and then staggering of spearmen at arms with shields for that extra melee defense, and just regular cheap men at arms with swords for some extra bodies in the hole. We've also got a Grail Relic helping to keep morale together in the center. A Damsel Lore of Life. She's carrying Earthblood and Regrowth for a pure healing kit. She's also got the Magic Resistance AoE buff, 12% AoE Magic Resistance, which is currently actually not hitting anyone, but, could potentially be useful again against Fate of Yunas. The Curse that the Tomb Kings Lords can put down, also going to be very good against that, and so on. So it's a relatively cheap buff, good to take in this matchup. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at Black Iron's army. He's got Cetra the Imperishable, or no, actually just a Tomb King. I totally thought this was Cetra, but it looks like just a Tomb King on a beautiful Cameroon War Sphinx here. Infantry is going to be skeletons all across the front here. Actually, Tomb Guard with two skeleton spears on the flanks. He's got the Kepler Guard in the center. The Kepler Guard is an interesting unit in this matchup. If the the peasant fire arrows shoot at these guys, they're going to take a lot of damage because they do have the flammable trait, of course, minus 25% fire weakness from that regeneration. So they will definitely take damage. Of course, the regeneration makes them a bit tankier, but yeah, interesting play. We've also got the Blessed Legion. We've got one regular melee Ushabti on each flank for a total of two, and two Ushabti Great Bows, one of them the Regiment of Renown, Chosen of the Gods. We've also got a Tomb Prince on foot for that cheap Guardian. He's also got the Blade of Setep, which gives minus 30 armor, minus 22% physical resistance, which is going to be very good against any units with Blessing of the Lady. So I actually quite like that pick here by Black Iron. And yeah, he's also got that Guardian, so he can run in, like let's say Luan jumps on this Tomb King here, he can run in with his anti-large armor piercing and do some damage to Luan in the side, while also giving the Guardian to the Tomb King. So I really like that pick. That's pretty much it for Black Iron's army, fairly straightforward Tomb Kings build, so let's go ahead and push things into full motion as the Tomb Kings are cresting the hill here. You can see the Tomb King himself coming into view of the peasants just now. We're going to get a quick cheeky charge with Luan, try and do a little bit of damage while the peasant arrows start to open up shots. Not making too great a contact there. We're able to do a little bit of damage, and we're going to be quickly pulling away before these Ushabti can get on Luan. One unit of peasants kind of being thrown in here to just kind of blunt my enemy's advance. And Black Iron just immediately collapsing with the War Sphinx and the Ushabti and everything, trying to immediately terrify away these peasants, which he does. That is going to allow us, though, to countercharge with the Spearmen in here and get them onto the Ushabti without having been charged, which is very advantageous to me. You can see also the Flaming Arrows opening up shots. Out on the flanks, the Royal Hippogriff Knights have landed on the Chosen of the Gods, going to be fighting up against them, which all things considered, this is going to be a more or less even trade, which is actually really bad for the Royal Hippogriff Knights, considering they're much more expensive and facing kind of a ranged unit. We did charge one unit of Grail Knights into some Ushabti, going to be pulling out and cycling around for another charge. The Ushabti are crumbling in terms of leadership, so you can see many of their souls bursting out there, and the statues going to be falling over to the anti-large of the Grail Knights here, of course. So yeah, you can see, I love the animation where the soul just pops out and then they just fall over. It's super cool. Yeah, we're immediately going to be cycling into the Kepler Guard as well. Of course, Shock Cavalry will do a lot of damage to Tomb King's units. You can see this unit of Grail Knight has inundated the Bow Shopti here and going to be taking it down. Very nice stuff so far, but you can see the balance of power is still pretty even. It's slightly in my favor at this point. But the Tomb King still very healthy, trying his best to avoid that Peasant Bow Fire. And I'm just hunting him as best I can with Lewin. He's going to get on this Grail Relic here, which I had left a little bit exposed, which is a very nice play. If he can kill this Grail Relic, that's going to, you know, break that immunity to psychology, which is currently giving units in this area of effect here, including a couple of these peasant units, immunity to psychology, so they're not being terrified by the Tomb King on the War Sphinx. The Damsel Lore of Life also not being threatened too hard here, just content to kind of cast spells. The Grail Knights are doing very well, although they are starting to lose a little bit of health over here. This unit is also not in the greatest situation. We tried to cycle them back and get onto these missile units here. You can see them inundating the Blessed Legion here. Of course, they'll definitely be able to put a smacking on the Blessed Legion. You can see the Realm of Souls going off there for the Tomb Kings. And unfortunately, because of this little icon here, I can't see what level it is, but let's see if that... No, it's not going to go in time, I don't think. No, unfortunately, but... all good. You can see Lewin has actually taken quite a bit of damage from the Tomb King, so between the Tomb Prince doing that anti-large armor piercing, supporting this Tomb King, although it's not an anti-large type monster, it still can do a lot of armor piercing damage, still very powerful, high charge bonus and all that jazz. So we cycle Lewin out, cycle the Grail Knights in to try and do some damage. You can see the Tomb King's taking a substantial beating here. The fire arrows are just relentlessly poking away at him. All things considered, though, the balance of power is still very even. A lot of the peasants have been wrapped up. You can see this unit of men-at-arms, unfortunately, is a little bit surrounded here. They're definitely being cleaved apart by the Tomb Guard here. We're going to drop Lewin in and try and give them some support, as well as these regrouped peasant mobs here. The next tier of Realm of Souls going off. It looks like, if we can highlight that here, I'm not sure what level that is, but no Ushabti summoned quite yet. Or actually, yep, it must have been tier 3, because there's the Ushabti summoned right on top of those fire arrows, so very good play there. Shutting down those flaming arrows, which are definitely a danger to the Tomb King's Lord at this point, considering how low he is. But yeah, the Royal Hippogriff Knights have taken a beating. They did survive that engagement with the Blessed Legion, but it was not cost-effective in the slightest. They did get an XP Chevron, but still, they're very low, so we're going to be hitting them with that regrowth, give them extra physical resistance, and healing up the remaining unit models that are there. Lewin himself is taking quite a beating, not quite at his healing cap yet. He's regenerating currently, but a lot of these... This is a very favorable situation here, actually, where we've now fixed both these units in place with the peasants, and we're able to kind of ping-pong back and forth with the Grail Knights. So what I'm going to be doing is, charging over here, and then immediately just charging back over here after about 6 seconds or so after the charge bonus wears off. So it's going to be pretty effective cycle charging there. The Hippogriff Knights being thrown in against these summoned Ushabti here, they are going to get routed off, unfortunately, but they should be able to do some damage before they fall. Looks like one of the Hippogriff Knights falling there to the Tomb King himself. Going to be charging down the hill, trying to get on these peasant arrows who have regrouped here. The other group has also regrouped here, so we're going to be able to get a nice crossfire situation. We do have one very tattered unit of Grail Knights here. The other unit of Grail Knights has mopped up this unit of the Tomb Guard. Going to be cycling over to the other Tomb Guard there. And yeah, it's pretty rough at this point, on the balance of power for the Tomb Kings. I mean, I say that. It's still pretty even, all things considered, especially with the summoned Ushabti still fighting in here. There's a lot of these armor-piercing construct-type units, and I don't have the most armor-piercing anti-large to deal with them. There's the tattered unit of Grail Knights, Lewin himself, which is taking a ton of damage, actually in a really dangerous situation, just barely squeaks back up into the air with about 320 hit points there. Tomb Prince was hitting him in the side, very bad situation, but we're going to drop an Earthblood on him just to help speed up his replenishment. I obviously am going to need his armor piercing to help deal with some of these construct units, so I need him back in the fight as quickly as possible. We're going to bring these Grail Knights around and do a quick cycle charge and then pull back away. Meanwhile, we're bringing as many of the regrouped peasants back as we can. The Tomb King's forces are now concentrated here with just the Ushabti and the leadership units left, and this one unit of crumbling Tomb Guard here. But we're now going to, with all the peasants that have regrouped, going to collapse into this pocket here. You can see the peasants charging bravely down the hill, and the Grail Knights once again cycling in on those Tomb Guard, going to be doing some effective damage, lancing these Ushabti in the back a little bit as well. Come on, get him. Get him. not quite, but yeah. With the Ushabti taking quite a bit of damage here, that they're just not going to be able to hold up their leadership. You can see the Tomb Guard has pretty much popped at this point. The Tomb Prince did come out here and get a hold of the Damsel, did quite a bit of damage to her, but at this point we're going to be able to come in with Lewin on a bit of a rear charge. Actually looks like pulling back up into the air and coming back down one more time. So with the attacks in the rear, of course, they're not subject to melee defense, so we should be able to get some good hits in while he's turned around. You can see dropping to about 800 hit points, and with the Grail Knights and Spearmen and everything inundating, not going to be able to hold up his leadership. We've also got some clutch Fire Bowman Fire. Fire Bowman Fire, how about that? The Peasant Arrows with the fire. Shooting in here, going to be helping to finish off the Tomb King. Just not wanting to get too wild with Lewin, especially when we're so far ahead on the bounce power. I don't want to give Black Iron a chance to come back in the battle, so we're going to be just pulling Lewin back up in the air, leaving these Grail Knights and the Peasants to finish off the Tomb King and his Sphinx here. So very well played to Black Iron battles, a very close battle, all things considered. And once again, guys, this was fought on the first day the Tomb Kings were released, so no guarantees either of these builds are super optimal. I do like Lewin against the Tomb Kings, just because obviously they don't really have any air power to challenge him. You can kind of charge down, do damage, get back up into the air to regenerate, use that Lion Shield to help against the, Ushabti Bowfire and so on. Really do like Lewin in this matchup. Grail Knights, of course, are going to be absolute MVPs here. Tomb Kings tend to have a hard time with heavy shock cavalry, especially anti-large type heavy shock cavalry like Grail Knights. You can see 270 kills, up to a silver XP chevron for this Grail Knight. They killed Ushabti, they killed a ton of Tomb Guard, just absolute MVPs here. 80 kills, 2 chevrons on this other Grail Knight, also did very well. A little bit underwhelmed by the Royal Hippogriff Knights, only 16 kills and a chevron. I do feel that these Grail Knights performed significantly better, which, considering they're cheaper as well. It's a bit of a tough sell on the Royal Hippogriff Knights. I haven't really tried the Pegasus Knights because as far as I've seen, they haven't fixed any of the pathing issues, which is the one reason why I think you won't see Pegasus Knights until pathing issues get fixed, either Royal or regular Pegasus Knights. But yeah, so far it looks to be just stick with Grail Knights against the Tomb Kings. Of course, the Peasant Bowman with the fire arrows also doing very well also. Certain situations, these men-at-arms are able to get 64 kills. I'm not sure on what. Must have been some Skeleton Spearmen or something, but the Peasant front line held as long as it needed to and allowed the kind of elite units to get the damage done, on the periphery. So for Black Iron here, his Tomb Guard did very well. Of course, Tomb Guard are going to be strong in this matchup. Even Foot Squires, I think, would struggle against Tomb Guard. I might do that in a head-to-head test and just, let you guys know how that goes. But so far, Tomb Guard seem to be very good against all the Peasant Infantry, at least that I brought here. Ushabti are going to be decent as well. They're not as good against heavy cavalry, but it's pretty tough. I do like the Ushabti Great Bows for shooting at heavy cavalry, but because of the hill obstruction there, they weren't able to get the best shots before the engagement started, and that is one thing to consider with the Ushabti. Although they do have bows, they can't fire in an arc, they can't fire up and over, they have to fire in a straight line, similar to a bolt thrower type unit. So that's something to consider. Line of sight is an issue for them, so you need to make sure they have an open line of sight to be able to be effective. But otherwise, yeah, I do like some parts of this build. The Tomb King actually was a lot more effective on the War Sphinx than I had anticipated. Even though he's an anti-infantry type monster, he was still able to do very well in that duel with King Lewin there, of course with the support of the Tomb Prince. But no magic for Black Iron. I'm not sure if he didn't realize that the Tomb King didn't have magic, but again, we were just kind of testing things out. I believe this was on my stream, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, just thought I'd take a little bit more of an in-depth analysis and show you guys some Bretonnia, since you guys seem to enjoy that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. I'm keeping it coming with more Total War Warhammer 2 content every single day, so stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.